No. Well, I'm gonna be like this the whole time, so. But thank you.
Hi guys. Oh my God. Shy fucking table.
I have 4 people in this room.
This is a little bit intimidating. I should run your cousins and stuff.
Jake, do you want water?
Yes, please. That'd be fantastic. No, this room's cool. Yeah, this is cool. How are you? Good.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I think we both like to apologise for anything we may have said last night.
Cutting in line. Cutting in line.
Not me. I think I nailed last night.
Okay, Max, last night you said that. It was like the other night, you said a fan like chopped off part of like your hair, or were you just talking about your haircut?
Oh no, I was talking about a haircut.
Okay.
That's how drunk he was.
My hand didn't chop off my hair. I'd have a problem with that. I'd be touched and honoured, but nonetheless we'd have a problem.
So Jake, kind of jumping right in.
Do it.
In the book, there was a lot of brother bonding between Kyle and Ian that we didn't really get in the movie.
Right.
Did you still incorporate some of that into the character development, or?
Yeah, Boyd and I, as much as we could. He plays guitar, I play guitar, so we spent time together in that fashion, sort of bonding in that way. But yeah, that was constantly always going on. He's such a fine actor that there was a scene in the infirmary where after he tries to kill Wanda. I mean, he was in my coverage, like he was giving it to me, like he was mad dogging me, like and that's that was really great, and I think that really helped us because we did have so little time to sort of build this thing between us. Shout him out.
Okay, so I did this question earlier for your dialogue for Max. Learning our accent, usually you work with a coach. Is there any phrase or word that you...
There was one phrase actually where every time I said it, Saoirse would burst into that. Oh God. There are no humans, there's no medicine out there, you souls have destroyed it all. And it was so, I had to walk round a corner, and she said, we've got to go and get medicine. And I'd come in going, there's no medicine left, you souls have destroyed it all. And it was like G.I. Joe. It wasn't good acting, it wasn't good accent, it was nothing.
Is there a favorite word that you've had to learn that's now stuck in your head in the American accent?
Fierce.
Fierce? Fierce. Oh, awesome. I love that one for you.
So fierce.
Okay.
And this is all on video.
This is not coffee.
He hasn't slept since last night.
Oh my God.
So, Jake, was it difficult trying to have chemistry with 2 different actresses playing the same part?
Well, not entirely, because I only saw Wanda. I tried to in the moments where like she had to kind of have an aside with Melanie. Just as an actor, I tried to occupy myself organically, so I wouldn't sit there and go, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing?" So that was kind of my trick to myself, is to kind of find things to do, because I didn't know, obviously didn't know Melanie. I only know Xavier, so it was easy for me to only have that one thing. Saoirse had all the hard work.
Was there any advice Stephanie gave you to help with your character development?
I went up to Stephanie pretty much day one and said, because let's all be honest, we all know that the internet fan cast are ours. So there was a bit of pressure, and there was a bit of pressure in the fact she read the book. So I went up to her and I said, Stephanie, God, am I getting Jared right? Is there anything you need to tell me or anything I'm doing terribly wrong? And she said, no, you were cast for a reason. We were both cast for a reason. We trust your instincts. We trust your interpretation. Now, day one, just go and make the character yours. Which was nice, it kind of took all the pressure off.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing for me. I mean, she was on set, but you kind of have to go search her out, and even when you do, she's kind of just like, talk to Andrew. Because she really entrusts people with her work. I think that was because she was able to be a part of the hiring of all of those parts, and so, I mean, what can she do? She hired the people she wanted, which doesn't always happen.
For each of you, what was your favorite scene to film?
I'm getting quite redundant with it, but for me, it's well, I guess there's two. The quick one was when we were on the rocks with binoculars, looking out the seekers, because
We just got to be kids.
first time in like my career, I really felt like a kid again. But for me, also was the date scene between Ian and Wanda outside, because it was the last day of filming. It was a really nice scene to do with her. The sun was setting. We laugh in it.
He's a big softie at home.
The sun was setting, everyone's hugging and crying. I'm very much like Ian, I'm very sensitive,
Oh my God.
loving and kind,
Sensitive,
giving.
involved.
But it was probably the best way we could have ended the entire movie out of this location.
My favourite scene, by contrast, it's slightly weird, I guess, but it's when Melanie Wanderer comes back to the cave and I hit her. Now, let me explain. The reason for this is Jared gets a bad rap, but I think the reason Jared is the way he is because he exists in really terrible, terrible circumstances. I mean, to lose the girl he once loved, but then to have her come back occupied, for all intents and purposes, as far as we know at that point, dead and gone. But having a daily reminder of that is terrible, and learning how to adjust to that. And usually you know the emotional trajectory a scene's going to take, but in that scene I had no idea. I was really nervous about it. I didn't know if I wanted it in the movie. But having all the actors there, all the pressure on, I found a huge amount of emotions came really quickly in that moment. Anger, pity, love, hate, all really sort of instantaneous and mixed up. So it was a kind of microcosmic example of Jared's struggle, which I love.
This is all one big excuse to hit a girl. That makes it better.
Don't put that out.
I was feeling all these emotions.
Oh, I'm so evolved.
I was feeling fierce.
I'm just a ball.
So, would you react to Wanda the way Ian and Jeb reacted, or like say if you were in the cave, or would you react the way that Maggie and Jared reacted to her?
See, I tease him, but I will give him this. I don't think any one of us would act differently if this was a true story and we were invaded and we were living in a cave.
Yeah.
And this was brought in. The love of your life was brought in, and then they were hijacked.
We had 2 weeks of rehearsal to kind of get on the same page, and even though the souls are well intentioned and that they're trying to steer our world down the right path, they have done one thing, which is commit global genocide, as far as we're concerned. So we do have a chip on our shoulder, so to speak, until we learn better.
So what's the aversion to butterflies?
I'm sorry.
It wasn't him.
Who was it? Saoirse. Okay, they're unpredictable. They have an unpredictable flight path, and they stick on you. They land and they stick on you, and I don't like that. I like them at a distance. They're charming at a distance. Up close, don't get in my sphere of influence.
Now all the fans are going to show up with butterflies.
I've already been doing it. I got this guy. I had people throwing bugs on them.
So personally, who do you prefer, Wanda or Melanie?
See, I think we're so invested in our
So
characters.
yeah.
Or, talking about and defending them.
Mm-hmm.
Melody.
Wanda.
So we talked with Saoirse about the kissing. Was it awkward for you guys to just swap the girl out, especially in the one scene where Jake gets to kiss her first and then you get to kiss her
At
next?
least I got to kiss her first.
Was it filmed that way? Did you kiss her first and
We
then filming?
resent the use of the word swapping.
Okay. It makes for a dull story, the fact that we all got on so well. By that scene, I think we had each kissed her on our own so many times. At that point, it's just like, all right, come here. Hey, your turn.
She was so sick of us. Not again.
Not again. I imagine.
But thankfully, we were friends, I'd say. And there was no awkwardness. There was a lot of jokes, a lot of laughter. So it was fine.
We asked her what to ask you, Jake, and she asked us to say, "Why are you such a lame kisser?"
I'm very surprised, like that was what you said. Really funny. I'm the best kisser, ask him why he's the worst,
Jake,
Jake, you've played both now a good and a bad character, and which do you preferred?
It's a lot more relaxing to not be in the background fighting people and just kind of choking her, you know. Okay. That's all I had a conversation with a really great actor, Kevin Durant. Is that the basketball player or is that the actor? I can't remember.
You are not doing well on this question.
I'm going though. We did a movie called I Am Number 4 together, and he plays a lot of bad guys. And I talked to him about this and was like, I gotta save a kitten from a tree at some point, otherwise it's gonna be the end for me. And he goes, I'll tell you what, pretty soon they're gonna let you start playing bad guys. And it's going to be fun at first, but then you're going to hate it. You're going to want to play an asshole again. And there is something to that, because right after that, I got to go back and play Luke and Percy Jackson, and so that, you know, I had a nice balance last year. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. But it's nice to change it up. It really is, you know.
So you don't prefer one or the other. You just like the
I like
variety. There you go.
The spice of life. Oh God, that was hard.
Just get under the table.
You have the new Percy Jackson movie coming up too later this year.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Your role is Luke.
Very little, yes. It comes out this year, August.
That's what you can say.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's in 3D now, and it was supposed to compete with this movie actually, but they decided to do 3D, so they pushed it to August, and it actually looks really good, which I'm not surprised about, but I'm also kind of surprised about.
It's already shot, right? You shot one.
March 29th.
Now you've done several book-to-screen adaptations.
Yeah.
Do you read the books before you film?
This was the first book I read before the film. Usually I let the script be the Bible and that's kind of the thing, but I knew that there was so much depth in this book that I wasn't going to get in a script necessarily, because it does have to be boiled down, even though Andrew Nichols did a fantastic job without compromising the character. I decided as an experiment to go and try it. And I was really glad I did, because I knew the world now.
It was great being able to look at a scene that might be half a page and find it in the book and it be 4 or 5 pages with heavy description.
Yeah.
And you can take it if you want it, if it helps, or leave it if it doesn't.
Especially because it's such an ensemble. And in the book, you get to really experience a relationship with each person and then bring all of that to these very limited amount of scenes you have and make them just as powerful.
Max, did you read the book prior to getting into the script as well, or?
Yeah, I got halfway through the book before the audition, because as you know, it's about the size of a Bible. But I got halfway through, but then after the first audition, I finished it.
So what made you decide to audition for this film? What was it about, you know, the character that you auditioned for that really spoke to you and that you could identify
I think
with?
we can both be honest and say that Twilight we weren't the target demographic, except like the rest of the world, we felt we knew a bit about Twilight. So when we saw Stephanie Meyer's name, we were nervous as to what this film would be, whether they would formulaically try to reproduce a success again. But we read it and realised that there was so much more to it. I think, without meaning to sound patronising, Stephanie Meyer has matured as a writer,
right,
or changed direction as a writer, and I think The Host has so many dimensions, so many themes, so many ideas which have been communicated to the film. I think we were intrigued, and then to hear that Andrew Nichols and Saoirse Ronan were on board, and the producers, if you look at their back catalogue, it's a good team.
I initially went for Jared.
What's that?
I initially auditioned for Jared, because I wanted to shoot the guns and drive the cars. And then Andrew called me and said, "But you know this interspecies thing is really interesting." And I was like, "Right." It's like freaky and interesting.
I loved it.
Were you surprised at the magnitude and intensity of the Stephanie Meyer fan base, and are you guys prepared for the superstardom that it may surely bring to you with this? Are you prepared for that?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. As far as like sort of like the face time we get from fans, I feel really lucky to have been a part of a series called Supernatural, which is sort of this like, it's not unlike the Twilight following. Those boys, like, they're theirs and they're passionate about it, and I see why. When I watched the show for the first time before I went and filmed it, I was like, this show's fucking awesome. Why haven't I been watching it? And going in as a third brother was pretty controversial. and to have experienced that has been like really nice with this stuff, just because there is a bit of pressure, and you do want to bring something to it. You want to please the fans because you're the reason we're all here. Honestly, without you guys, we don't get to make a movie. We don't get to have all this fun. So it's a relief when they come out and they're like, "You did a good job. You didn't screw it up completely." All right.
So you've seen these fans line up, camp out, you've been on tour. What's something you would camp out for? What are you obsessed with?
I hate waiting in lines.
Gotta be something.
There's just so much kinetic energy in me. I'm like a dog, and if I don't have a purpose, I start to get fidgety. It's very weird. I know. I don't know. This is a stellar one for me. Especially like Los Angeles, I see people like queue up outside of clubs. And I'm like, unless there's some reason I can walk right in, I can't do it.
Do you have Madam's Tussauds here?
Yeah.
I'm about in London too, and the doors open at 6 a.m. and there's a queue of hundreds of people.
This is in wax figures?
No.
It's creepy. There's a creepy cross-eyed.
Careful, they might make one of you.
I have the last say. If that ever happens, I don't think it will, but if it ever does, I get last say.
I don't know, Taylor and Robert
Do they have
got
it?
one. Yeah, they both
Does
have
Taylor have a shirt on or not?
You can lift it
So, Max, you told us you knew a lot about Justin Bieber, so would you wait a
It's disturbing how much you know. I get a daily Bieber update.
So would you wait in line for Bieber?
I just have a sort of micro fascination by the phenomenon that is Justin Bieber.
What's the daily fact today? What is it?
What's he done today? Actually, I didn't get up early enough because I drank too
He's
many
posted
martinis
3
last
selfies on his Instagram.
night. Shirtless selfies.
No, just of his face. He dyed his hair a little blonder.
That's interesting. No new information today.
Where, if I mean, she is writing the sequel, where do you want, or where would you like your characters to go? Have you thought about the journey that they might take?
I have. There was a scene which was cut, which was when Wanda and me are going to get medicine for Jamie, and Jeb gets in the way, and I hit him with the rifle, and he got knocked down, and stood over and left. I'd be interested to see if Jared and Melanie, now they're together, stay within the confines of the cave and under Jeb's authority, or if they leave. Try to survive by themselves.
I think Wanda and I will just stay in the cave and make babies.
Every fan fiction.
Ian and Wanda making babies. We have a guitar.
With a guitar.
Yeah. We actually had a bit of a score written that was going to play in the movie, but apparently it's a big part of the second novel, so we weren't allowed to do it.
Yeah, and you saw the guitar.
The guitar's in there. It's a bit of a foreshadow.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece. Antonio Pinto wrote it. The guy who scored the film. It was gorgeous. So stick around.
For both of you, were you given anything from the set or from any?
I took a book from Ian's room. I'm a huge Rudyard Kipling fan. My tattoo is if it's one of his poems.
Oh my god.
Okay, can we?
I have no idea.
It's my dad's handwriting. It's just really small.
I saw that the other day. I thought it was dead.
It's a really great poem, and so there was, Ian had a bunch of books in his room, and this really great shelf that was stocked with them, and I found the Jungle Book was in there, and it was this really old copy that was falling apart. It had a belt as a bookmark. It's like old leather belt, and so I started reading it in between scenes, and then I just put it in my bag and left.
How about you, Max?
Nothing.
Nothing? Context?
Didn't have them.
Yeah.
I pass out.
Wrong speech.
We all had these little, when you sit on those chairs, movie chairs, you have the thing and it's
The backer.
I took the back.
The great mom gifts, those things. My mom gets one for every movie.
Really?
How was How was your interaction with Chandler? Like, did you kind of take him under your wing a bit on set?
He is a really cool kid. Yeah, he's a lot of fun, especially the scenes with Saoirse. We had a lot of fun together. Yeah, he's great. He is genuine. He's great.
So going back to you guys being cast, with Jake, you talk about how you originally went out for Jared, and then Andrew asked you to read for Ian. But what was your process with that, Max?
I went up for Ian as well, but I sort of loved Jared from day one. And I actually said to him, which I was really worried about doing because I thought I might be burning bridges. He's not interested for Jared, but I said, I really like Jared. I really understand him. I really want to play him. Just so you know. And next I heard I got a pass.
Jake, I was gonna ask you, when you're working with Melanie and like the Wanda deal, and then at the end Emily Browning comes in, was that weird to kind of switch and have it be like the same character but a different actress?
Yeah, the thing about Emily was she really surprised me. She came in like 2 days before. They sat her down, had her watch dailies, and I was blown away by how she picked up Saoirse's mannerisms as Wanda, and it was really kind of seamless. And I didn't know what to expect. I was like, I built all this stuff with Saoirse. How could this new actress possibly bring it in? And she did. She brought it in and delivered it. It was really unique to experience that. To feel like it was the same person in a new body. I thought that went well. And that was all testament to her.
Like watching it, you could really tell you guys still had like that.
Yeah, there's that thing was like, oh, you still do that with your hair, but it was more than that. Like it was like the way she stood. It was that was sort of for the audience that needs to be told like, look, it's her. But if you really watch it, like her mannerisms are like everything Saoirse did in the whole entirety of the film. So yeah, she made my job really easy. The women in this film made our job so incredibly easy. Yeah.
Alright, on that note.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Alright, close.
Bye. Bye.